Number 1. Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction, 1994, features a scene that draws attention to a female character's bare feet. This shot is one of the first widely noted examples of a recurring motif in Quentin Tarantino's films. In Jackie Brown, 1997, multiple scenes again frame feet prominently, showing deliberate focus. Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2, 2003 to 2004, expand this pattern with repeated and extended close-ups of female feet, making the motif unmistakable. Death Proof, 2007, includes long sequences where feet dominate the frame. Inglorious Bastards, 2009, offers a brief but noticeable feet-focused shot, while Django Unchained, 2012, and The Hateful Eight, 2015, do not emphasize feet. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 2019, returns to heavy use of feet-focused imagery, reinforcing the recurring motif. Quentin Tarantino is known for stylized violence, pop culture references, and repeated visual motifs. He has acknowledged this focus on feet in interviews, describing it as a personal appreciation and stylistic choice rather than a sexualized element. Across his career, the pattern is deliberate and consistent, making it one of the most recognized elements in his filmmaking. Number 2. Christopher Nolan, Inception. Inception, 2010, contains a subtle detail that has fueled a popular theory about Cobb's reality. Throughout the dream sequences, Cobb wears a wedding ring on his left hand. This ring consistently appears in every dream layer, from the initial dream negotiations to the large-scale action sequences. When Cobb is supposedly awake, the ring is absent, including in the final airport scene when he reunites with his children. The theory suggests that this wedding ring, not the spinning top, serves as Cobb's true totem, a tool to track whether he is in a dream or reality. Director Christopher Nolan is known for embedding meticulous details into his films, and the consistent presence or absence of the ring supports the idea that it functions as a subtle but deliberate marker of Cobb's consciousness. Number 3. James Cameron, Titanic. Titanic, 1997, presents a theory suggesting that Jack Dawson never actually existed. Throughout the film, Jack appears precisely when Rose is at her lowest point, offering support and guidance. His presence drives her transformation, but no other characters ever confirm his existence. A crew member even notes there is no record of him on the passenger list, which Rose does not dispute. This theory interprets Jack as a figment of Rose's imagination, a psychological construct she creates to navigate trauma and isolation. His actions, backstory, and interactions are all filtered through her perspective, meaning he exists only in the context of her personal experience. The narrative from this view focuses entirely on Rose's journey, and Jack functions as a manifestation of her need for courage, love, and guidance. Number 4. Steven Spielberg, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981, contains a theory that Indiana Jones does not actually change the outcome of the story. The major events, the Nazis locating the Ark, retrieving it, and opening it, would have happened regardless of his involvement. Fans argue that the Nazis already had access to the dig site in Tanis, the location of the Ark, and part of the staff of Ra. Once they open the Ark, its supernatural power destroys them automatically. Indiana Jones's efforts, including chases, fights, and interventions, do not prevent this outcome. His role is seen as observational, with the story unfolding around him while divine retribution takes its course. Number 5. Stanley Kubrick, The Shining. The Shining, 1980, has inspired a theory that Stanley Kubrick used the film to secretly admit involvement in faking the moon landing. The theory points to symbolic details, beginning with Danny's Apollo 11 sweater, which appears early in the film. Room 237, renamed from 217 in the novel, is noted by theorists as a reference to the moon being roughly 237,000 miles from Earth. Additional visual cues include the carpet design near room 237, which resembles a launch pad, and Danny's positioning interpreted as a rocket rising. Jack Torrance's breakdowns, rage, and isolation are seen as Kubrick encoding the psychological burden of hiding the truth. The film's imagery and sequences are read as metaphorical clues, suggesting a cinematic confession, tying the narrative to the moon landing conspiracy theory. Number 6, M. Night Shyamalan, Signs. Signs, 2002, has inspired a theory that the alien invaders are actually demons disguised as extraterrestrials. The film follows Graham Hess, a former priest struggling with grief and doubt, which shifts the story's focus toward faith rather than a conventional alien invasion. Fans point to water as a key element. It harms the invaders in ways reminiscent of holy water. The ship's behavior, flickering in and out of view, resembles supernatural watchers rather than technological spacecraft. The story's repeated Christian imagery, symbols, and themes of fate and trial support the idea that the events represent a spiritual test, with the aliens functioning as malevolent, otherworldly forces rather than beings from space. Number 7, Robert Zemeckis, Back to the Future. Back to the Future, 1985, contains a theory that Doc Brown's first time travel test reflects a man with nothing left to lose. During the test, he stands directly in front of a speeding DeLorean, untested except for remote control, putting his life at risk. Fans argue that decades of failure, financial loss, and social isolation paint Doc as someone prepared to take a final leap of faith, risking everything, including his life, for the experiment. This perspective frames the scene not just as scientific curiosity, but as a personal gamble, showing the depth of Doc's desperation and commitment to his invention. Number 8, Coen Brothers, No Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men, 2007, has a theory that Anton Chigurh is not a real person, but a manifestation of Sheriff Ed Tom Bell's fractured psyche. The entire film follows Ed Tom's perspective, grounding the story in his worldview. Fans note that Chigurh embodies abstract violence, stalking the landscape like an idea rather than a person. Key scenes, such as the motel room where Moss dies, emphasize tension and absence, with no direct confrontation. The theory suggests that Ed Tom, worn down by years of brutality, projects the evil he cannot comprehend into Chigurh, making him the true killer in the narrative. Number 9, Ridley Scott, Blade Runner. Blade Runner, 1982, contains a theory that Deckard is a replicant implanted with the memories of another, possibly Gaff. The unicorn origami left by Gaff matches a dream Deckard never shares, suggesting Gaff knows his thoughts. Fans argue that this indicates shared memories, a process used to make replicants feel human. Deckard's self-doubt, nostalgia, and emotional uncertainty align with the idea of a recycled identity, reframing his role as both a copy and a character under observation. Number 10, John Carpenter, The Thing. The Thing, 1982, features a theory that by the final scene, Childs is no longer human. His sudden reappearance after key moments, along with inconsistent behavior, such as drinking without caution and showing no visible breath in the cold, are cited as clues. Fans interpret these details as signs that Childs has been assimilated by the alien entity, making the ending ambiguous and suggesting that he may already be the Thing by the time the credits roll. Number 11, Michael Bay, The Rock. The Rock, 1996, has a theory that John Mason, played by Sean Connery, is secretly James Bond. Mason is a former British operative trained in espionage, black ops, and infiltration, with a resume mirroring Bond's skills. Fans note that his imprisonment since the 1960s aligns with the end of Connery's Bond era, suggesting off-screen continuity. His methods, demeanor, and survival instincts reflect classic Bond traits, and casting Connery reinforces the connection, framing the film as an unofficial continuation of the 007 saga. Number 12, Martin Scorsese, Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver, 1976, has a theory that the ending represents Travis Bickle's fantasy rather than reality. After his violent rampage, Travis is suddenly portrayed as a local hero, returning to work, interacting normally with passengers, and receiving attention from Betsy. Fans argue that this abrupt tonal shift reflects a mental rewrite by Travis, a coping mechanism for his obsession and rage. The film, from this perspective, ends with a constructed redemption arc in his mind rather than events unfolding in the real world. Number 13, Tim Burton, Tim Burton Universe. Several of Tim Burton's films, including Frankenweenie, 2012, Corpse Bride, 2005, and The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993, support a theory that Victor Frankenstein, Victor Van Dort, and Jack Skellington are the same character at different stages of life. Fans note shared physical traits: tall, thin frames, large eyes, and nervous expressions. Each character's story deals with love, loss, resurrection, and the blurred line between life and death. The theory interprets these narratives as a single soul evolving through Burton's universe, symbolically navigating grief, curiosity, and eternal longing. Number 14, Peter Jackson, The Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings series contains a theory that Gollum killed Frodo's parents, Drogo Baggins and Primula Brandybuck, rather than them dying accidentally. Fans point to the timeline, placing Gollum in proximity to the Brandywine when the deaths occur. The theory suggests Gollum, obsessed with the One Ring, may have attacked them in a case of mistaken identity or desperation. This reinterpretation connects his violent history to Frodo's family long before the main story, turning the reported boating accident into a concealed murder tied to the ring's influence. Number 15, Robert Eggers' The Witch, 2015, has a grounded theory that the terrifying events stem from hallucinations caused by contaminated crops or natural toxins. Fans point to historical accounts of ergotism caused by rye infected with the fungus Claviceps purpurea, which produces LSD-like effects including paranoia, seizures, and vivid visions. The family's isolation, starvation, and strict religious upbringing are seen as psychological accelerants, intensifying the hallucinations. The theory reframes the film as a study of environmental poisoning and mental collapse, where perceived witchcraft and demonic activity result from a combination of toxin exposure and extreme stress. Number 16, Denis Villeneuve, Arrival. Arrival, 2016, contains a theory that the heptapods serve as an early prototype for the navigators in Dune. Both species operate in dense, gaseous environments and perceive time non-linearly, influencing events beyond human capability. Fans note that learning the heptapod language reshapes the brain, granting abilities akin to the spice-induced prescience seen in Dune. Their physical forms, floating posture, and monolithic ships resemble Dune's navigators and highliners, suggesting Arrival functions as a conceptual prequel, laying the groundwork for the later interstellar travel and human transformation central to the Dune universe. Number 17, Guillermo del Toro, The Shape of Water. The Shape of Water, 2017, has a theory that the story is an adult retelling of The Little Mermaid. Elisa, a mute woman, parallels the mermaid's isolation and desire for connection, falling in love with an aquatic creature. Fans note the shared themes of forbidden love, sacrifice, and crossing between worlds. Elisa risks her safety and life to protect the amphibian man, and her final underwater transformation mirrors the mermaid abandoning the human world. The film's underwater sequences, romantic tone, and fairy tale elements reinforce the parallels, framing the story as a mature reinterpretation of classic mermaid mythology. If you enjoyed these crazy director theories, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into movies. We'll keep breaking down the wildest ideas straight from your favorite films.